Hey guys.
Hey.
So we recently read that the government are considering introducing a 50-year mortgage that can be passed down the generations. Now guys, what do you think about this? Is this a good idea? Is this a bad idea? Jump in the comments and let us know what your thoughts are on this.
Yeah, according to the Building Societies Association, 37% of first-time buyers took out a mortgage of between 30 years and 35 years. And only 10% of first-time buyers took out a mortgage of less than 20 years. So they're essentially saying that we are already accustomed to taking out much longer mortgages. And this is obviously tied to the fact that house prices continue to rise. In England alone, if you want to buy a house right now, you're buying at around 9.1 times your earnings. So house prices are now completely outstripping wages and so on. And apparently 100-year mortgages are actually a norm in places like Japan. So they're now considering bringing that over here to the UK. What do you guys think? As Mary said, jump in the comments and let us know.
So guys, for today's video, we're going to share some advantages to this and some disadvantages, and we're going to give you our conclusion on our take on this matter.
Yep. For those who are new to the channel, I'm Ken.
And I'm Mary.
Of the Humble Penny and Financial Joy Academy. What we do on this channel is give you guys the tips, the insights, the practical hacks to help you take control of your finances, grow your money, and ultimately work towards a dream life of financial independence and money joy. All right, let's jump straight in and talk about the advantages first, and then make sure you hang about because the disadvantages, boy, you need to hear them as well. All right, let's talk about the advantages. What's our first one?
All right, so the first advantage is that it allows you to build equity rather than pay rent. A lot of people see rent as dead money. You just pay it and you don't see any equity. You're not building up anything. But with this, you get to build up equity.
I guess that's a good idea in a way for those people who do want to own a property who are currently renting.
Yeah.
Right? Because buying a place is great, but it's not really for everybody. Not everybody wants to do that. But yeah, I guess that's an advantage in that you do get equity over time by getting onto something like this.
Yeah.
All right, the second advantage is that it allows more people to get onto the property ladder.
Yeah, absolutely. Like Ken said, like you said earlier, works out that somebody who wanted to buy a property, it's now going to be roughly 9.1 times their salary as opposed to the 4.5 times the salary, which is the affordability test that usually banks do when you buy a property. But now anybody, more people are likely able to get onto the property ladder because it's more affordable for you.
Now, and we should mention, by the way, to your point, this is actually still a proposal, right? It hasn't come into place yet. This is what they're thinking about. And the Prime Minister has confirmed that this is an idea that they are considering, okay?
Yeah.
So this is not just hearsay, it's actually confirmed.
Yeah.
And the third advantage is that people can end up spending a lot less on a mortgage than they might do on rent. Okay, so if you ask anyone who's renting, they will tell you that like rents are going up.
Yeah.
Rents just go up. It's just what happens every year.
Even though wages aren't going up.
Yeah, you know, like some landlords, in fact, most landlords have agents who manage their properties for them. And those agents literally have it on their plan every year to increase rents by a level of inflation every year. So rents go up every year. Whereas if you've got a mortgage, you could argue, well, actually, I could fix my mortgage rate and I can better predict my costs and so on.
Exactly. Yes, that's a very good point. Okay, and the final advantage is that if somebody's financial situation changes, well, they can change the term of the mortgage. Just because they take out a 50-year mortgage doesn't mean that they have to stay with it for the rest of their life. They can always change it according to the changes in their financial situation. Maybe they've got a good paying job or they've got a very good business that's paying a lot of money, that's generating a lot of income for them. They can change the term of the mortgage. It doesn't have to stay as 50 years.
So you mean they can reduce it?
Yeah, you can reduce the term of the mortgage according to your financial status.
Okay, so now we've talked about advantages, which all sound good, right? Let's actually look at the other part of the story, which is the disadvantages, okay? So in our opinion, the very first disadvantage is that it creates generational debt rather than generational wealth.
So true.
Okay? I mean, literally, let's call a spade, right? A 50-year mortgage is literally debt till you die.
Yeah.
Until debt do us, you know, as they say. So, and that's crazy when you think about that. I mean, that could be insane for a lot of people. I mean, it speaks to the point that the borrower is servant to the lender. Imagine how compounding, imagine like interest compounding over 50 years, over a 50-year period, just how much interest that just accumulates over time. That's going to be absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
Not just for you in this generation, but for the people who you might potentially pass that debt on to.
Exactly. Although one can argue that if, you know, this property is passed down, you know, to the children or whatever, then they do have the option to sell the property. You know, they don't have to like hold on to this, you know, liability, which is what it would essentially be. If they can't afford the payments, they have the option to sell. So, yeah. Okay, so disadvantage number 2 is that it does not solve the root cause problem of house supply shortage. So why are we, you know, exploring this idea in the first place?
Yeah, that's actually true because, like, again, if we think about it, this is like one of those ideas that looks like it's solving a problem, but at the same time, it's actually exacerbating existing problems. It's not like tackling the root cause of the issue.
Absolutely.
And that leads us directly into our third disadvantage, which is that a 50-year mortgage product will continue to artificially inflate property prices.
Yes.
Because it would just keep creating more demand.
Exactly.
And let's think about, who does that demand actually benefit? Because we're being told, that like, this is great. Like, you have more people get onto the property ladder. This is fantastic. What do all those people pay when they go onto the property ladder?
Stamp duty.
More taxes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
More taxes.
Yeah.
More things. So like, always ask yourself, like, what is really going on here? Like,
Who is it really benefiting?
who is it really benefiting? Like, who's gonna, in 50 years, are those people gonna be around? When, like, you're potentially struggling to pay that mortgage.
Yeah. Okay, so point number 4 is that it allows people to borrow more money than they ordinarily would buy. Because now you think you'll have longer to pay off the mortgage, you'll essentially obviously want to buy more. So I guess this makes people continue to live more beyond their means.
Yes.
You know, instead of being kind of sensible and realistic in terms of like, oh, what property can we afford? It causes them to like have bigger eyes.
Yeah, and they're like, it's okay.
Get themselves into more, you know, trouble and struggle monthly.
It's funny you say that because like one of the biggest things we did well, I think we did very well on our journey so far, is we chose to borrow a lot less money than we could have done. Yeah. That they could have given us, right? They were like, oh yeah, you can buy a property like up to 700k. We're like, what? What? Are you okay? Yeah. 700k, right? Yes, we had the income that could hit those levels.
We more than halved.
Yeah, like, but then we were like, nah, forget that, man. Yeah. Like, this debt is real. Like, it's not just like internet money, fake. You know, like, our kids playing a game and they're like, it's not monopoly money. This is like real. You're gonna pay this money, boy. They'll come after you. A bit like car financing. Yeah. When you go to buy a car, and they're like, oh, it's okay, like, it's only £250 a month. And then you're like, oh yeah, I can like squeeze that into my budget.
Whereas if you bought the car outright, it definitely would not be, what would work out to be like a 60k car if you bought it on finance.
Yeah, not obviously with housing, no one can, like, people don't buy houses outright. But the point remains the same, really, is that it really speaks to that in addition. Yeah. All right, so our next disadvantage, thinking down the line now, right, given this is like a generational thing, is that there's a likelihood that the children who inherit a property with a mortgage might not actually be able to afford it.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah. Because, like, there's this almost assumption we're like, oh yeah, our thing is, I want to try and get onto the property ladder. I want to try and build up like a 50-year mortgage. And then, if you've got children, like, you can't, who wants, like, imagine our children, imagine saying to our kids, like, look, we've, mummy and daddy have done their bit. We've bought the house, but I'm sorry.
Chances are we're not going to.
I'm sorry. Here's some debt that's coming your way.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be pissed off.
Yeah.
If my parents said that to me, I'd be like, nah, listen. I want to make my own decisions. Like, I don't want you sending debt my way. Yeah. I just won't find that funny.
No. Final disadvantage, guys, is that imagine still having so much debt in retirement. I mean, you have no means or no way of paying this mortgage, but then you're living in a house that you can't afford the mortgage. So then what happens? I guess you have to then rely on
family, friends,
children to then pay that mortgage that the children are not living in that property. So then it is a financial burden, isn't it? This is a financial burden.
This is actually a problem for some people right now. In fact, a lot of people, one of the biggest issues that are not being talked about right now is the fact that, yes, we are living longer, yeah, but then our income potential doesn't carry on. Like, you don't, like in your 60s, suddenly start earning more than you are in your 30s. Like, it doesn't happen. But people at those ages still have mortgages to pay.
Yeah.
What do you do in that scenario?
That's really... imagine how that must feel for those people. Like helpless, really, and very overwhelming, very stressful.
Somebody I know who was about to turn 60 a few years ago. And his thing that he was waiting for, he's got this massive mortgage, massive. But then his house has a lot of equity, but he lives in a house, massive mortgage, more than 300K, still in like, you know, hitting 60. And the mortgage is on interest only for a residential property. The thing he was waiting for was for his parent to pass away, basically. So that he would then inherit money to be able to pay off the mortgage.
Wow.
So like there's this time clicking thing that's happening, you know, there's a countdown happening for, you know, as people get older, it becomes harder. So a product like a 50-year mortgage, not being funny, right? Like, you know, the way these things get presented to us is like, yeah, oh, we're trying to help you, But like,
are they really?
You know, but are they? Like, really question what's presented to you. Really question it. You know, because if 25-year mortgages have worked for so long and created problems, imagine what 50-year mortgages would do. Exactly. That's probably how you should think about it.
Yeah. In conclusion, we'd say that the 50-year mortgage, although it might appear, you know, like a nice idea to help you get on a property ladder, there are so much more disadvantages than there are advantages, which essentially means that it doesn't really, in the long term, make any financial sense. And finally, you know, the worrying thing is that you will never be able to become financially independent in your lifetime. It's just, the chances are very highly unrealistic. You know, which won't be, you know, which is not really a good place to be.
And the people who create these products will not be there in 50 years to bail you out. That's really, let's be facts. That's what will happen. There'll be nobody. We will then get left alone with our 50-year mortgages and all the other things that come with it. The people who are telling us today it's a good idea will have moved on, would have long moved on and on to other ideas. Anyway, these are just our thoughts, you know.
What are your thoughts?
Let us know what are your thoughts.
Do you think it's a good idea? Are you going to explore it because you've been struggling to get on a property ladder? You know, in this climate? Let us know your thoughts, guys. Yeah,
jump in the comments and let us know. And, you know, really have a chat with us. Let's have a dialogue in the chat section below, because I really think this is such an interesting topic. Also, if you're someone who is from Japan, where these products, these apparently 100-year mortgages, whoo, you know, I just want to hear from you, like, what are the realities of this? You know, if you live in Japan,
does it work?
If you're Japanese, or if you are anyone who's moved to Japan, we'd like to know. We'd actually like to know your views. So jump in the comments and if you've enjoyed today's video, guys, really appreciate it. Hit the subscribe button, people. That's what we want you to do. Subscribe to our channel because we you know, we love what we do here, putting out really high quality content for you guys twice a week, every Tuesday and Thursday. All right, people, thank you so much for watching today's video. And as always, in all things, be thankful and seek joy. Take care, guys. Bye.